Hi, welcome back. My name is Tomislav, and if you're just starting out on your wood turning journey and you don't know which ball gouge grind to use, I hope this video will help you out, so stay tuned. Now this video won't be anything close to scientific. What you will see and get is my feedback, my subjective feedback on some of these grinds, what are the benefits, where they excel, and what are perhaps some of their flaws. And just to point out as well, you don't have to use one grind and just stick with it. You can incorporate maybe, for example, swept back grind or a long grind for shear scraping. It's excellent for that, as you will see in the video. However, you might want to incorporate something like 40-40 grind for all the major, like roughing out or like a nice finish cut and so on. In this video you're going to see primary grinds that I've used over the years. When I started out, I tested all of these multiple times on multiple, let's say, exchange. I've used one, then go back to other, and then go back to, let's say, the third option, then go back to first one, and so on. And I've done that, and I wasted a lot of steel because I freehand sharpening, so that this video on sharpening may be a little bit different because I'm not using a jig, so the results may not be the same for you as well, but again, you'll have sort of a starting point to build on. Hopefully that makes sense. So on every grind throughout the video I'll be using the same ball gouge. This is the brand new short version, 1/2 inch steel or 12 mil diameter steel, cryogenic M2 from Crown, with a elliptical flute. I don't use the V-shaped flute or the U-shaped flute, so only elliptical flute I use. And let me show you on the whiteboard here the grinds that I'll be using and also how I'm going to test this out. Grinds that I'll be showing you today is very popular 40-40 grind from Stuart Barry, asymmetric grind from Richard Graffen that I also use, fingernail profile, but I'm going to show you a few alterations, let's say, and hopefully one will maybe work for you. And also the last one, the very popular again, swept back grind. Now I'll be focusing on the whiteboard here whenever I switch to another grind. So the first part of the test is on the outside of the ball, and the second part is on the inside. A lot of turners have troubles with getting nice clean shape on the inside, getting, more importantly, nice clean surface without any tear out. And also I'll be giving you feedback which one is easiest in my opinion to use, and we'll try to compare the surfaces as well as best I can, best to my phone camera abilities. And when I sharpen one particular grind, I'll be using it on this blank first, and then I'll take it off the lathe. I won't take it off the screw chuck, I'll just take it completely out of the lathe and put this one on. So the blank is always nice and true, so I only have to chew it once. And that's for the blanks here. And let me just get back here. So today I'll be showing you the angle, nose angle here, from 40 degrees up to 50 degrees. Now some may like 60 degree as well, especially on a traditional grind, which later and in the video I'll be showing you that as well. We won't skip that, but these are the four primarily grinds to use for roughing out as well. On the outside of the ball, so I didn't include the traditional grind specifically here, but we're going to cover it as well a little bit. And I'll be doing separately video on angles, so we'll be using, like, let's say, two grinds, but we're going to change from 60 degree angles up to 40 degree angles and compare the differences. Now I always say that I want to keep these videos nice and concise, but it's hard to give you all this information that I think it's necessary in like 10-minute format video, so hopefully you'll bear with me as we cover all this. So we'll start with the 40-40 grind, one of the most popular grinds out there, which Stuart Barry invented, and he uses 40 degrees as the name suggested on the nose here, nose angle and 40 degrees wings here, measuring from inside of the flute here. And another key point is he likes to have the wings straight, without curves here. And I've used this grind when I started out. Like I said, it works fine, but I like to test out, I like to experiment with different techniques, and I do it even today as well. And I'll be showing you one of the next grind that I like to maybe use more with asymmetric grind that I'm using currently. So let's head on to grinder. Now, one of the first things that you want to do is sort of give yourself a little reference lines, 40 degrees from this top edge. If this top edge is nice and parallel with your wheel. So that's what I'm doing here, and these are just rough reference lines. So that's 40-40, and now we just calibrate the 40-degree angle. So just quickly cut this piece of veneer here. This is a straight edge and this is 40-degree angle. So this will just get me a rough angle set up, and once I get it grind on the gouge, I can test it out, the angle on the gouge itself. Now I'm just for the video's sake, I'm going to give it the best I can to 40 degrees, and this is just to get me roughly there. And you can buy jigs from, I believe, Ashley Harwood and the Stewart itself to set this up if you want. So but I've done like this and it's perfectly fine. So I want to bring the platform a little bit closer to the wheel, and I'm looking at the bottom portion, like half an inch from the bottom, to be in line with the wheel, or as best I can. So just a little adjustment. There we go. So that's close enough. So there is a lot of videos on YouTube showing you the sharpening process. Even I have a few of those as well on asymmetric grind. So there is no point in this video to show you the entire process in depth. So just go quickly through the process. So the 40-40 grind starts with the flute upside down, and I just drop the handle to raise the edge here, so I get flat or slightly curved wings, which then later I'll flatten by swinging the handle right and left. So just want to get the entire profile here. Here we go, so that's the profile done, and I'll just quickly remove this on a coarse wheel. Now I removed the waste here from the profile on the coarse wheel, and now just to refine it a little bit. So this is our gouge now nicely sharpened and ready to be used. We are at the lathe and we can start with the test of this 40-40 grind, and you may hear noises from the table saw across the wall, and I did have a few comments asking if I can remove those, but it's working environment here. The father-in-law also has to make money, so bear with me. And you may see here a little bit of bluing on the tool. It's not an issue for high-speed steel like this M2 or M42 unless you dunk it into water. So what I like to do, I shape the tool, do whatever I need to do, and then I put it on the cast bedways here on the cast iron on the bed of the lathe or on the bandsaw and let it cool that way. It really does the job really quick, as there is a lot of metal surface here. So again, we're going to test out with this slightly concave surface here. I will take a light cut, then we're going to take a light cut here and across the grain here. So let's start out. The speed will be the same for all the gouges, inside and outside. Increase the speed to 1090 RPMs. This is the most stable for this blank, because as you saw, the corner is missing where the bark was. And I'm going to start out with this 40/40 grind. I'll try to take like this, maybe 2 mil cut. Let's go one more time. I lost the cut here. So that was nice and easy. Can't test it really here because of that bark missing, so just rattling around. So let's make another 2 mil cut here. I'll try to use the same pace and everything. So, and let's make the cut across the bottom here. Let me just bring the camera slightly to the right. So I'll true up this area here, like so, and raise the bevel, and I'll use this type of cut for all the grinds. Slowly through center. Again, I'm trying to be consistent with the pressure, or I'll try to be. And now we can inspect the surface. Let me adjust the camera. Let's start with this one here. Now the surface here is actually quite good. As you can see, the nose angle of 40 degrees really helps out here, and it's a nice clean surface. A little bit of ridgy here, a little bit of like a wave, which is quite common to get when you go across the bottom like this. So let's see this surface here. So you can see these marks evenly spaced. That is the bevel length, quite accurately, as you can see, which is quite normal when you have this inside profile. But let's see the surface. So I'm looking the end grain, this hard spot here, the toughest spot here, which likes to tear out, and this is actually really nice. Let's see the other side, this area here, just where the grain is going like this. When you pass that, that's your biggest trouble area, let's say, and it's cut cleanly. So let's see the diameter here. So let's see here, everything feels like it's cut nice and clean, and it's actually a little bit fuzzy on this spot. This could be due to grain. And let's try to make one more cut. I'll mark where this spot is, but I'm going to take a little bit lighter cut. So in this area, this is a good angle. You can see just a little bit of rougher texture. So let's take one more cut, but smaller amount. So this is roughly 1 mil cut, half the amount of previous cut, and let's see if that fixed the problem. it's still here, so this could be due to this blank. Maybe it's cut a little bit at an angle or something. So everything else is cut pristine, only this little area here. So let's now switch to inside. So I'll use the other gouge just to chew this up so we can hollow with the 40/40 grind. So now we can use 40/40 grind and start on the side. This is taking a little less than half of the width of the wing. So that's one cut, a little bigger bite, and I'm not sure if you can see, but it's pretty good. Now these ridges, like I said, these are from the bevel, so I would have to shorten this primary bevel on the nose by half to reduce that, but I'm not looking at the ridges here, I'm only looking at the surface quality and how easy it was to control the gouge. Now Stuart does recommend to use this maybe 2/3, and then for the bottom use a bottom bowl gouge. I don't use bottom bowl gouge, I just don't find the need for one. So I do have one, but I only use it in like specific situations. So today I'll be only using gouges to get all the way to the bottom in one go, like here. So let's make one more cut, but this time a little lighter cut. So let's go with 1 mil again. It was a little gone at the bottom, but we cover this area, and let's see now the surface. I brought you closer. So again, you can see the ridges here, here, here from the bevel. Again, we're not looking at that. I'm looking now specifically on the surface quality, which is really good. A little bit rougher here, which is to be expected, where the grain is running against us. So we only have these kind of two spots on the inside where this happens. So the overall on the inside, this is a really good cut. 180 is plenty here to start with sanding. Now, what do I think about 40/40 grind? So how do I feel it's working on the wood here? So the Stuart says it's pressure sensitive, and I do feel that, especially on the outside of the wood, on the outside of the bowl. And when I make that inside curve cut, I really felt if I put any pressure, it wants to fight back. So I have to neutralize that, and it does take a little bit of practice to get this really right. The sharpening, again, I'm not a huge fan of straight wings. Now let's pick this spot here, roughly 1 inch width, to shear scrape. So dropping the handle way down and closing the flute, and let's see how it shear scrapes. So it does shear scrape nicely. I get a nice fine dust, and the surface is, yeah, that's a really good surface. Not much complaint here. So it may not be the best because it has the straight wings. So at one point you will maybe hit an edge here or the corner, or you maybe find the limitations of that straight wings. So curved wings are better for shear scraping, although if you have 40/40 grind and you have to shear scrape something real quick, this is a good option. Okay, so the next in line is asymmetric grind from Richard Raffen, and I'm using this all the time. So I could be biased to this one, of course, and I'm almost familiar with this one. However, like I said, I'm going to give you my best feedback that I can. And when I'm sharpening my asymmetric grind, I like to have from 40 to 45 degree nose angle. I don't care which angle it is correctly, and I like to have always constant curve, full curve here, so not shallow curve but full curve as best I can, and the nose here also quite round. That can be a little bit difficult to start your cut, however in my opinion gives a little bit cleaner cut. So I went ahead and just rough profiled the asymmetric grind, so shorter or steeper right wing and a full curve on the left wing. You can see it better here, so you can see nice full curve, not so much shallow curve. So I'll just finesse it here on the CBN wheel. And this is now asymmetric grind with again roughly 42 degrees, I would say, so between 40 and 45 degrees, and you can see the full curve of the wings, maybe better on this side, and again almost all the way around, nice flowing curve or full curve all the way around. So let's now see how this performs. And this is our outside profile blank, so let's see how it performs. Again, same speed, 10,000, 90 to 91, 2 mil cut. So that's this cut. Let's go right away to here. Again, 2 mil cut. A little bit more. Let's go across the bottom. Same setup. Again, I'll true up this area, although I don't need, but I like to approach with this kind of process or technique. Find the bevel. So let's see first the bottom here. So now we can see or assess the quality of the cut here on the across the bottom here. I would say right away from the start it was much easier to control the asymmetric grind here across than 40-40 grind. The cut quality, I would say it's quite close to each other. I don't see major differences. Again, we have a little bit of chatter mark here or a wave, which if I go one more time I will remove that, but that's not necessary. I can see the results here quite well. Now let's see the this area here. See now this concave surface, is it clean as it should be? It is. We still have these equally spaced marks from the bevel, which are quite okay. And let's see the flat area here. So this is that troubled area here, and I should mark on the other side, the side that I'm not cutting. And I'm not sure if you can pick this up, but it's slightly better, I would say, ever so slightly better surface. The rest of it here is quite good. Again, I feel the feedback that I'm getting from the gouge is I feel I have a little bit more control. It's not so much pressure sensitive going into these shapes here, these cuts, than the 4040 grind, which is much more pressure sensible. So that's my take on this. Now there is one more cut that I would like to try, since I gave the 4040 another shot to at this area here. So let's go 1 mil cut, much like with the 4040 grind, but I'll use just right to the nose of the gouge. See where is our troubled area. Here is that mark, so we can see, I'm not sure what to tell you, it's maybe few percent better or smoother. Again, I think shear scraper will deal with this quite well. The rest of the surface is really nice. So that's on the outside profile. Let's go with the hollowing. Okay, so now let's see how it performs on the inside cut here. So again, same speed, nothing has changed. I'll be using roughly a little less than half of the width for the first cut. So that bigger round over here, it's a little bit more prone to skating over. So close the gouge, raise the handle. When you enter the wood, now the bevel has somewhere to rest. Open it up slightly and proceed forward. Okay, so that's the first cut. Let's see the surface. Now I would say here it's much better than the 4040 grind. I'll show you that in a few seconds. Let's go with another cut, much like with the 4040 grind, but much smaller, much finer. And slowly through center. Let's see now. I'll bring you a little bit closer. So the first thing that we see is these equally spaced marks, which again on all of the gouges will be. It will be less visible when we get outside more diameter. So, but the cut quality, not sure how much you can see, but it's, I believe, what I've seen here, it's a little bit better than 4040 grind. So now we have one more test, that's the shear scrape here. Now let's see with the full curve on the wing how it performs in shear scraping. So drop the handle down, closing the flute. So since we have full curve on the wing, it will be much easier to go in tighter curves and stuff like that. But again, the surface here is really nice. Let's focus a little bit better. As you can see, little marks from the edge, but that will sand out really quickly. So to sum things up on asymmetric grind, what I'm getting the feedback from the tool and from the wood itself and the surface, it's much easier to control it. It's not so much pressure sensitive, I would say. And also I'm getting a much cleaner surface on the inside and a little bit cleaner surface on the outside than 4040 grind. That's my take on this. Again, it's definitely not definitive. Perhaps on other steels it may be vice versa, I don't know. My guess is because of this full curve, as you can see from the top here, from this full curve on the nose and the slightly sharper edge here because of this angle, which again will be in a separate video, I'm getting slightly better cut. That's my take on this gouge, and that's at least what I'm seeing here on this piece of wood here. Now I forgot to say that these came right from the side of the slab like this, so these are the most similar type of blanks that I could get. So the next in line is fingernail profile of the gouge, and with again slight curved wings, between 40 and 45 degrees nose angle, and the length of the wings will be roughly diameter of the tool. So we are using 1/2 inch, that's 12 millimeter diameter steel, so this will be roughly from 12 to 14 millimeters length in wings here. And hopefully you see now why I went first with the 40 grind, then asymmetric, then this one and this one, so I don't lose much of the gouge. I'm still trying to save on the steel here, so if I went first with the swept back grind, then I'll have to remove a lot of steel to get to asymmetric or to 40 grind. So let's go to the grinder and sharpen real quick the fingernail profile. So again we are back at the grinder, and for this fingernail profile I'll try to get this left wing same on the right side, but with a slightly less curve. Hope that makes sense. Now you can go like this, you can go like so, and that's now the full profile here with a slight curve, as you can see. And let me just quickly measure the length of the wings. So let's measure here from the 10, and that's roughly 12-13 mil, maybe slightly less than 13 mil. And again I'll just rough this down on the coarser wheel. So this is rough profile, as you can see, so there's a little bit of flat spot left on the edge, so now I just have to remove it on a finer wheel here. So this is now finished grind. So fingernail profile, you can see why it's called like that, and again the angle here is between 40 and 45 degrees with a slight curve on the wings here. Okay, now we are back at the lathe, and let's now see the fingernail profile of the grind. Again, speed 1090 rpm, 94. So again, let's go with a 2 mil cut. I lost the cut here in the middle, but I think it should be okay. So let's go across the diameter here. Again, round 2 mil cut. Close the jacket. And let's go across the bottom. Let's see how it performs here. Again, true up this area. Find the bevel. A little bigger bite or so. Okay, let's first assess the bottom of the bowl here. You can see it's a clean surface, however we have more of these equally spaced ridges, which are again quite easily to remove by just grinding off the heel, let's say half of the bevel distance, just grind that off and these will be much less visible. In terms of how it performs going across like this, I would say the same as the asymmetric grind. That's how much I feel, at least. It's better than a 40-40 grind. And let's go now to this concave surface. Okay, now let's see this concave surface, and like with the previous two gouges, grinds, it's pretty good. I don't see any difference here than the asymmetric grind, so that works really well. Now let's see the flat and that troubled area. Okay, let's see the flat spot here. Everything looks super nice, and the troubled area is this section here. And yeah, I would say nothing better, nothing worse than asymmetric grind or the 40-40 grind. This area here is really stubborn, so let's try with this one as well, 1 mil cut. Let's see that maybe a little finer cut will deal with this. So this is that area, and I would say this is the best so far on this particular troubled area that we have. It's the best out of 3 so far, so better than 40-40 grind and a little better than asymmetric grind. So you can see that's a little bit different or slightly smaller picked up grain. Now this will send out with 180 grit quite fast, or you can hit it with a shear scraper. I think it should be gone, so without any too much fuss here. So let's see the hollowing. Okay, let's see how it performs inside the bowl. So again, around 4 mil, that was the first cut with 40-40 grind and the asymmetric grind. So somewhere around here. Again, raise the handle, close the flute. Once you're in the wood, open it up. Okay, let's see how it looks. Yeah, that's really nice surface. I would say the same as the asymmetric grind, so that's really nice. Now bear in mind that as we go further out to the rim, it's slightly more speed. So, but I'm staying at the same speed on the controller, on the lathe itself. So let's go with a little bit finer cut, 1 mil. And let me bring you closer. So let's see now the inside here. Again, I have to mention the equally spaced ridges, which again will be taken care of if we remove the heel. But in terms of the cut, I would say the same as the asymmetric grind. So let's do that. Close the flute, drop the handle down. So let's see this surface. So let's see the shear scrape surface. Yeah, that's really nice surface. Same type of ridges, I would say, as on the asymmetric grind. Yeah, really good. So I do have high hopes for the swept back grind to have the best sort of results here, because we can drop the handle even further down and get a better shear scrape angle, but this performs really nice. So even with the tighter curved profile on the wood, you will still be able to get inside, because this is again curved wing. So you can see the profile here, it's curved instead of flat or straight, and on this side as well. So the fingernail profile, it's really nice. The best cut on the flat portion of the other blank there, on the outside portion of the bowl. The best cut was on the flat spot so far with this fingernail profile, and the other cuts across the bottom was slightly, I would say, worse than asymmetric and 40/40 grind, but it was much easier to control. Again, I find it's not so much pressure sensitive. Now, not sure why the 40/40 grind is, or I at least felt that way, that it was sort of a little bit more, not sure the right word, wants to bounce a little bit more. Not sure why. Is it maybe because of the flat wings, or not sure what it is, but maybe with a bigger bite it will be better. But so far I would say this one and asymmetric grind performed, at least what I'm getting here, the feedback from the tool and the wood, so far the best. And finally we get to swept back grind, again with a slight curve on the wings. This should perform the best in terms of shear scraping. Now the angle will be slightly blunter. Now usually I've seen many turners use from 50 to 60 degrees, so it's much more pleasant when you have the tailstock in place to use this kind of angle, more of a blunter angle, let's say. And the length of the wings will be roughly, again, doesn't have to be exact, roughly 1.5 times diameter of the tool. So that will be roughly close to 20 mil, 18 to 20 mil length. So let's go to the grinder real quick. Now, to get a shallow curve and long wings, what I like to do is push the gouge upside down a little bit further up the wheel and then back down, and you'll see the profile roughly. Okay, so I hope you can see the reflection on top of the edge, and the wings go all the way up to here. So let's quickly measure it again from the number 10. So that's roughly, trying to get this on the camera as well, that's roughly close to 20 mil, so that's quite good. And now to sharpen this, usually turners use the platform itself. So we're going to set it to roughly 50 degrees, or between 45 and 50 degrees. So that should be around here. I'll first introduce the angle on the nose and then measure it. So that's the angle I got now. Real quick, I'll just remove the bulk of the metal here on the coarser wheel. Just to show you, you can see that's around 50 degree angle, and that fits quite nice. So that's the angle set to 50 degrees, and then I'll just sharpen it. So here we are now back at the lathe, and let me show you the swept back grind, nicely sharpened. It's the prettiest of them all. It's for the cover of the books, I would say, but it's slightly different. So we have a 50-degree nose angle, slight curve in the wings, which you can see here, and just to show you the difference in bevel length, because this is 50 degrees and for instance this one on the right is between 40 and 45 degrees, and not sure if the camera will pick it up. Let's line up the bottom and you see on the top how much it's longer on the right here. So this should be a little bit better in terms of getting the without the ridges or smaller ridges. And there is also this side here on the side much more metal, and that's the topic of the one of the next videos, which you saw the drawing on the bottom of the whiteboard. So let's start out again, same speed, 10,094. So let's see here, 2 mil cut. It's a little bit different angle. For me at least, I don't use 50-degree angle, so have to adjust the body a little bit. Okay, so that's this surface. So let's see the flat. My prediction is the cut won't be as clean, but we'll see. Again, 2 mil cut. A little. There we go. Nope. It's only like 5 or 7 degrees off, but it's a little bit different muscle memory in my body, so I'm used to lean in a certain way, and the issue is I'm going in a aiming to go flat, but the angle is a little bit different, so I'm shooting. I'll actually end up here just at the 0 at the top, so I have to again adjust the body where the bevel is pointing. That's my way. That's better. And let's go to the bottom. So let's see here on the bottom. Again, screw this up, and I can see already it's ever so slightly different kind of shavings. And again, this is my regular position to get, or muscle memory in my body to get across with my gouges, my angle, but you can see I'm not getting anything, so I have to move the body to get the cut. Okay, let's see the surface. So let's assess the bottom here with the 50-degree swept back grind, and the cut quality is pretty much the same as the other gouges or grinds, but not sure if the camera will pick it up. This area has way more of these wave lines than with the other three, and the reason for that is everything above 45 degrees, it's much more likely that you will put more pressure, even if you're controlling yourself, even if you're going or neutralize the pressure that you put into the wood. Because it's 50 degrees, it's inevitable that it will be a little bit more pressure. That's why here is a little bit more of these wavy lines. That's why if you have 50 or 60 degree angle and you're trying to cut the wall rim of the bowl, the top portion on the inside, it can be a little bit more vibrations and chatter marks. So if you have more of a blunter angle. Now the same story goes with these two areas here. The cut quality is, I would say, a few degrees or a few percent worse than with the 4040 grind and the other two as well. But what I'm getting back from the tool is, at least that's what I'm feeling. And again, this could be just because I'm not using these every day. I'm using asymmetric grind, but with this one I get a little bit more of a resistance to the wood, and I'm blaming, let's say, under the quotes, this 50 degree, because again you are pushing, although you're not trying to push into the wood, it wants to fight back a little bit more. But the cut quality again is pretty good, just ever so slightly worse, if I could say it like that, than the other three. So now let's see the flat area here. It's pretty good cut. Again, it's ever so slightly different than the other three, and this is the area of that troubled area of the grain here, and not sure if you can pick this up. It's ever so slightly rougher texture here, surface. So probably with the shear scraping, with the same gouge, with the same grind, you will get a little better surface. And just for the same continuity, let's make 1 mil cut as well. So light cut with 1 mil thickness, let's say. Again, that angle is different to me. Let's see the cut quality. So it's pretty good, and this is that area, troubled area. Hope you can see that on the camera. If the camera will pick it up, it's ever so slightly more textured surface. So as we have this grind, and it's sort of famous for shear scraping, let's just hit it with the shear scraping mode and let's see what that does to this grain here. So again, close the flute so it's around 9 o'clock, drop the handle way down and nice and gently and you can drop the handle way down. Wispy shavings. And now let's see if that area improved. So everything looks super nice. This is that area, and not sure if you can see, but it is ever so slightly better. Not sure that you'll be able to get it better than this. And now I'm just curious. Let me just grab a shear scraper, grab my refiner. So let's just see how it performs here. Not sure the burr, how much is here. It's a good burr. So let's see if that made any difference. I'm just curious. This isn't related to the grinds. Let me just show you closer. So let's see the surface all the way around. It's not as shiny as with the push cut, obviously, as it's not always like that. This is our trouble area here, and you can see it doesn't look all that different of the other areas. A little bit more, I would say these are slightly deeper torn grains. So let's go a little bit more. Just curious to see. This is that area. Yeah, that's now pretty good. So, but I believe now as we removed most of that tear out with the shear scraper, I believe that even with this one we'll be able to get a nice surface. Okay, let's find the troubled area. It's here. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's now pretty good surface, ready for sanding. So this is the major advantage of these kind of long swept back wings, because you can get a really nice shear angle. With the shear scraper you can get that as well, really close. So again, not much difference between shear scraping with the gouge and with the shear scraper. So okay, now let's see with the swept back grind with 50-degree nose angle how it will perform inside of a bowl. So again, for the first cut, let's go with the 4 mil thickness. So nice and gently. Okay, let's see the surface. Again, evenly spaced ridges, which are normal. A little rougher spot here. I'll show you that real quick. But let me just make a finer cut as well. So roughly 1 mil. So brought you in a bit closer, and I'm not sure how much you will pick this up. On this area here we have a little bit of pulled up grain here, and if I go to the other side where we have the against the grain situation, this area here, not sure how much you will see that, but it's way rougher than with the other three, and my finger even cut up how much it's pulled up. It's not terrible. You will be able to sand this out, but you see now that the more you have the blunter angle, it's a little bit difficult to cut nice and clean the grain, especially the stubborn grain like in this beach here. So let's see real quick the shear scraping here. So drop the handle, close the flute. Yeah, I would say by the feel of it, it's way smoother than the other three. Yeah, that's pretty nice surface, ready for sanding. So hopefully you can see that. But this area here, let me just grab different angle, show a little from different angle. Just find it. Here we go. So under the light here, not sure how much you will see. This area is a little bit more pulled up than turned out grain than the other three grinds. Think about this swept back grind. It's excellent grind for shear scraping. You will get a nice surface straight from the tool. It's a little bit different in terms of cutting. You will get a decent surface, nothing wrong with it, but you will get much better surface with something like between 40 and 45 degrees, or up to 50 degrees, let's say. Now there is another thing with this gouge that it's quite good, let's say, especially for somebody who does a lot of production rough turning. And you can imagine this is only ½ inch or 12 mil diameter, but if you have 16 mil, you will have almost over 30 mil long wings. You can have even slightly longer if you want to grind that way, but you can hog out really a lot of wood, especially on the outside of the bowl. Position it correctly, you can, again, like I said, have a big bite and remove a lot of wood at one cut. So I hope you had fun watching this video, and by all means, this is not a definitive guidance or video to definitively tell you which grind to use, because some grinds are better at some jobs than others. So for instance, swept back grind is much better in shear scraping than, let's say, the asymmetric grind, and 40/40 grind will probably work great on maybe punky wood. There's something to test out, and so on. So one gouge may perform as great on one task, but let's take as an example a traditional grind, which with a 45-degree angle could be a definitive for a tough grain with a ladder figure or something like that. So I hope this video will sort of steer you in a way that you want to test out these grinds for yourself. There are a lot of factors here that are crucial. Let's say type of wood, some cut better than others or scrape better than others. Tool steel can be a factor, longer handles could be a factor for more chatter-free, let's say, experienced thicker steel as well. So all of these factors must be included to be a definitive grind for you. So now what I'm encouraging you to do is test out for yourself. So try asymmetric grind, try 40/40 grind, try traditional grind for some tasks. It's not great for, that's why I not included in the first four, because it's not a great grind to rough out ball. It's a really slow way of shaping a ball. So really late, my voice is not cooperating with me anymore, and I do really hope that you like this video and it will sort of help you out on your journey to find a grind that suits your needs. That could be 2 grinds or 3 grinds that for specific tasks, and that will help you out, I hope. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you like this content. Hit a thumbs up, and thank you for watching. See you in the next video.